Labrīt, dāmas un kungi.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, once again. I would like to discuss the following issues. I would like to continue where Professor Biskis finished. There's the knowledge, creation of knowledge and the transfer processes. What are the most successful examples of technology transfer in the world, and also speak about technology incubators. Shall we finally see one in Latvia? And I've talked to the main scientists of Israel who believe that innovation equals real growth, and we need to take care of new technologies. And for example, they exported citrus fruit from Israel up to the tune of $100 million. Now they have increased it. How does it happen? It's just one example. Here I would like to, I would have liked Mr. Biskis to mention the figures. These are figures that characterize their cooperation with these companies, which are fairly big. How is it organized in Israel? Perhaps you got this information, you know it. Perhaps you may use the basic principle. So there is a research institute whose aim is to make fundamental pieces of research and investigate and how to create new knowledge. And then there is a structural unit of technology transfer whose task is to identify and select out of all this knowledge, technologies and new ideas those that are commercially viable, and how to transfer this new knowledge. The result, the institute gains income and additional income, and over the last decade, a number of tens of products have entered the world market, and if we add it up in terms of money, so the amount of sale in 2004 was $6 billion. So there were over 40 new companies were established around this institute over the last 5 years. What is technology transfer? It is cooperation between three trends. One is research of commission of contracts that these contracts are awarded to research institutes. The second is licensing of these scientific results, sale of licenses, of patents, and the creation of new companies or spin-off of the whole development. And now here, what is technology transfer? What is it about? It is the establishment of relations, building relationships in between scientists and businesses. It's a long and expensive process. It takes from 10 to 25 years when it pays back to offset the expenses. It is possible that you have one idea that generates a very big income, but usually most of the patents are such that do not give significant income.
And these technology transfer programs are needed because they commercialize technologies, but they are also business relation creations, create business relations and relations with risk capital. So we have to take into account that from the moment of submission of the patent and before you get the patent, it might take 10 years. It is important for technology transfer to have also a legislative framework. And the best example is the United States system, the Bayh-Dole Act, which says that knowledge created through public financing belongs to the institution that owns it, and the institution then has to commercialize this innovation and has to pay royalty shares to the inventors. It is important to have legislation for venture capital development. For instance, in Scotland, the birthplace of Mr. Ray has different tax reliefs for business angels who invest venture capital. So unfortunately, we don't have any motivation here. And universities and research centers have to have an effective intellectual property governance policy. We still have the stance that it is easy, you don't have to pay the university, and researcher does not pay to the university any share of his royalties. So universities have to take good care of their property and its commercialization. I also mentioned the Bayh-Dole Act in the United States. After it was adopted, we see that the university revenues from new technologies, their commercialization have grown. What are the problems and the obstacles? Globally and in Latvia, we have two different cultures: a university culture which progresses at a slow pace. Scientists are interested in basic science, not only applied science, and innovation is only additional, complementary development. Industry needs everything already yesterday, so if something is going to happen within 3 months, that is almost too late. Industry defines problems, it has to find solutions, and the industry interest is to keep control over research findings. Now, the main conclusions, if we look at the Israeli tech transfer system, what is important? The institutes create research, scientific results, and scientists focus on science. So he has to do what he does best. He has to create intellectual property. On the other hand, technological transfer has to be done by people who know how to find the commercial results in science, who understand both technological and commercial issues. There are different models how universities can cooperate with industry. There is the open science model where university publishes everything but doesn't retain intellectual property rights. That is an interaction model which is based on IP property right protection, license sales, patent sales, in cooperation with industries. It's like the model Rybitskis presented from the Technical University. And we have another, the spin-out model, where new companies are established on the basis of research basis, so the spin-out model. inventors or the innovators themselves have to prove that the innovation is going to work. So they have to attract venture capital, they have to persuade the capital holders, that the asset holders, that the invention is going to work. So it takes several years to get the company going. The most important thing is that the technology transfer centers, the focus, the contact points need very good staff who can speak both to the scientists and to the capital holders, who understand both sides, both the scientist and the entrepreneur. If we look at the problems we have in Latvia, they are similar. But since all the system is quite new, there are some typical problems that we have. We have to help researchers to understand technological transfer and commercialization, IP right protection, commercialization issues that go with the process. Scientists have to stay in science, but they have to. It means that we have to find project leaders or entrepreneurial developers who can lead, who can take an idea to business. The transfer technology contact points need staff that are highly qualified and who are experienced. Unfortunately, all the process here has started only in 2005, 2007, and these people are quite new to the system, and they learn and they grow step by step, so the results are yet not globally competitive. And companies really don't know very well what the universities do, and we have also a low capacity of innovation absorption. Few companies think about high VAT products like have some examples like in pellet production. There's also problems in communication between idea holder and investors. Investors speak their financial jargon, and the problem with venture capitals is that there are few people there who understand technologies and research results. They don't have technological competence. One of the solutions is the Investment Development Agency has joined the European project of Knowledge Transfer Society. The basis of this is to certify specialists for technology transfer. Mr. Rybitskis already mentioned low capacity in technology transfer program. This program has been implemented only in part. We have a two-level scheme here. Down there we have transfer centers at the universities, and then we should have another level of organizations who could sell these technologies on a global level or attract investors. Unfortunately, because of the financial crisis, the upper part of the project has not been implemented, so the results are as they are. We have 8 technological transfer license offices, the patent numbers and the revenues that they have gained by the income of the license office in 2010 was 29,086 flats, which is a percentage of all the transfer results. How to resolve this problem? We have tried to create a system when technologies are where we have matchmaking between technologies and companies. Then they have a seed or pre-seed support, and they are included, go to the incubators, and together with the venture capital we have created the virtual CO. We have started a project commercialization reactor. This is actually a matchmaking project so that people could make a team with a company who presents its idea and attracts innovations. We have had 4 of these reactors, technologies from CIS countries, some technologies from Latvia, and then we see how many companies have been created. So each reactor has resulted in 2-3 companies in Latvia. This fall, on the basis of this reactor principle, we are going to see what these technology transfer centers at universities can give us. Tomorrow we start training on technologies. We have a proposal of a number of 19 technologies have been submitted as commercialization projects. Then in October we have a matchmaking event between technology owners and entrepreneurs, and some training in October, and then another matchmaking event in November. Speaking about business incubators, I'll speak about them very shortly. Globally, we have incubators of the new type, which not only give office services and premises, but also works more with the incubating companies. They invest their own venture capital in the incubating companies, and actually it's not like one consultant per company per week, but there are 7 or more consultants per company who are specialized in different areas, so they get the result very fast. So we have here again an example from Israel, and we see the relationship or the share between public and private investment in the incubator graduate projects. So first we have government financing and public financing, and then private financing invests more money in these companies. In Latvia, we have 10 incubators and incubator operators who have more than one incubator per space. So we have around 300 companies in these incubators. We have 1,300 jobs there, and in parallel we have venture capital funds who invest from a pre-seed stage to a company growth stage. And within a year, since these funds have been operating, a seed has been invested in 5 projects, and pre-seed has been interested in 3 projects. So in 3 growth companies investment have been made. So not all companies certainly have technological products. Some companies don't have a need for these large investments, yet the system does not really work well. These pre-seed and seed funds have been established, but the incubation services for new technological companies are not really rendered. We wanted to have a technology incubator in Riga. This program went to the EU Investment Fund, and the EU Investment Fund could not fund these services they could own. And Mr. Puce mentioned that with the help of Norwegian financing, we shall still have this incubator in Riga, who will help new companies as new spin-outs to grow and develop. Here we have a few examples from our existing system, like hygiene is an innovative technology for compression of natural gas. So if you have a private house and if you drive a car which drives on gas, you can fill up at home. You don't have to go to the gas station. I could also mention NACO Technologies, which is the first company who has had two investments from the seed fund.
I would like to mention the most visible Latvian company where the contact was established in between the company and the inventor by motivation, and then the company received the services of both also the investor. It is a Latvian company where the licenses have been bought by Panasonic, Hitachi, so very big global companies, and that can be used in home cinema halls. Thank you very much. That's a great improvement.